Hello, everybody. Peter the Book Lover here, and this is Halls of Eight, where I talk about my recent book hauls. Let's talk about some books. Hello, everybody. I am Peter the Book Lover, and in these videos, I talk about 8 books that I recently accumulated. Now, all these books I have gotten from the free book boxes in Chicago. Uh, Believe it or not, yesterday I actually counted how many boxes I passed, and there was 14 boxes that I passed because I walk. It's a 6 mile walk, so on this 6 mile walk because I had to go get medicine for my roommate that I live with. So I passed these boxes, and I'm amazed on some of the great books that I find in them. And I do have, pretty soon I'm going to be making another video of books that I'm going to put in. I like to donate some of them, although I take more than I give, unfortunately. Although in the future, when I'm working again, or I have an income somehow, I am going to go back to going to the thrift stores and buying my books that way. I would much rather be going to a thrift store and buying books opposed to getting them out of these boxes. Now, before I get into the video, I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you for coming by. If you're new here, I want to welcome you. If you're coming back, thank you for giving me your time again. I love you, and your time is precious, so I want to make this entertaining. So let's talk about these books. Number 1. Now, there's a Jim Carrey movie that is out that I haven't seen, but I believe it's based off of this book. This is Mr. Popper's Penguins. This is written by 2 different people, Richard and Florence Atwater. I guess a married couple put this book together. This is a children's novel, and it looks pretty interesting. I love this copy. This looks very classic, and I'm looking forward to checking this out. Although I have not watched the movie, so I do not know if this is an entertaining movie or not. Although at the same time, I do love penguins. Penguins are an awesome bird, and I really like them a lot. They've got a lot of character. They actually, there's a documentary I watched about them that really shows what they go through as they cross Antarctica. Really impressive bird. They all huddle together, and they really protect their eggs. It's a very interesting animal, and I'm looking forward to reading this book. Okay, the next book is Conversations with Capote. And this is written by Lawrence Grabel, and I am a Capote fan. I really love In Cold Blood. That book is amazing. Also, I have read Breakfast at Tiffany's, and I've read the short stories in my Breakfast at Tiffany's book, and he is a fantastic author, and I really like his writing style, and he's an interesting guy, so I'm looking forward to reading this. Conversations with Capote. The next one is a classic by Raphael Sabatini, and this is the story of Captain Blood. There's a movie by Errol Flynn, and I believe I've seen it. I've watched several Errol Flynn movies, and I like Errol Flynn a lot as an actor. He is a very good actor, and I believe I've seen this. I'm not absolutely sure because some of his movies are very similar than the others. I know that I've seen Robin Hood, and he did a fantastic job in Robin Hood, and I'm looking forward to reading the Fortunes of Captain Blood. Yeah, this is an old classic copy too. Love that. Okay, the next one is by Franklin W. Dixon. This is the Arctic Patrol Mystery, and this is a Hardy Boys story. Now, whenever I think of Hardy Boys, I always heard of Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew, but this is the Hardy Boys. Now, when I was growing up as a kid, I never checked out Hardy Boys or Nancy Drew. I never read any of these books, so this is going to be my first experience with the Hardy Boys. And I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it or not. But yes, this is like detective work by these, I guess, brothers. So I'm looking forward to checking this out. The Hardy Boys. Okay. The next one is written by, it's a memoir by Edith Eva Eger. And this is The Ballerina of Auschwitz. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I do know what Auschwitz is. That is a death camp in Germany that existed in World War II. And the Holocaust is a very interesting subject. It's pretty awful, horrific. I can't believe that so many people were treated so badly in this period of time. I recently read a book called The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, which was about a Holocaust, and that's a very good book. I highly recommend that. And I do have a copy of the Diary of Anne Rice, so I'm going to read that with this and maybe some other book about the Holocaust at the same time. But yes, this interests me. I haven't heard of this before, but yes, this is, I believe I might actually read this book called Night. I have a book called Night about the Holocaust as well. Very, very depressing subject. One of my favorite movies is Schindler's List. I love that movie. That movie really makes me cry. I mean, I love it, but at the same time, I get very sad when I watch it. So, I'm looking forward to reading this. Okay, the next one is by Roel Hilberg, and this is The Destruction of the European Jews. Speaking about the Holocaust, this is probably, this is a book to where they talk about the Holocaust, and this is some detailed information about what went down during World War II. And it's pretty awful, you know, but at the same time, it's just like serial killer novels that I've read. It's not something that I enjoy, but it's kind of fascinating learning about this stuff. And my heart really goes out to the Jewish people. Talk about a group of people that were treated very badly. The things they went through during World War II was horrific. I mean, just the family separation alone was enough to break your heart. You know, the idea that you could watch people take your mother and father away, and not as a little kid, like you're an adult and they're taking your mother and father away, and then when everything was over, you find out they didn't make it. Lots of people didn't make it. There was like 6 million people that died, which is pretty horrific. So, okay, the next one is The Adventures of Tintin. This is Cigars of the Pharaoh. And yeah, this is a comic book. I've never read any Tintin. This is going to be my first experience of reading him. I do plan on pretty soon delving into some comic books, because I do have a good collection of comic books that I want to get into. I have The Watchmen. I have a Batman with Adam West from 1966, which would be pretty interesting. I have Sin City. That's great. I have some Walking Dead comic books. And I got quite a bit of comic books. Not a huge collection of comic books, but every now and then I like to read a comic book or two. I love reading the artwork. I mean, I love looking at the artwork, and I love reading them. I especially like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's one of my favorite comic books. So I'm looking. This is written by Joy Street Little Brown. I don't know if that's the author's name, but I'm looking forward to checking that out. Okay, the last book that I'm going to talk about is pretty interesting. This is a kind of a educational book. This is like describing the U.S. Congress for kids, but I believe there's a lot of adults that should read this as well. There's a lot of people that argue about politics that haven't been through this information, and they really don't know what's going on in the government. This is going to be educational for me, although I do know a lot about how the system works and everything. Some of the photos in here are people that I know. We got Elizabeth Warren, we got Bork, also on the cover, that's Greasy, I think his name is. But yeah, I watch politics and I'm into politics a little bit. I try not to add this on my channel, but yes, this is an interesting book about the U.S. Congress. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed hearing about these books. Hopefully I entertained you as I was talking about it. I want to thank you for coming here and giving me your time. Thank you for being here. This is, I'm finally caught up. I've got one book left. So now I'm caught up. And when I collect more books, who knows though, I've got a bunch of videos that I've made and I put together. So I got to go to the library to upload them. And I run across a couple book boxes when I go to the library. So I might actually have another video to make when I get back. I doubt it though, because I don't. The ones that I go to on the library, there's 3 of them, and a lot of times there's not new ones. Although every now and then they have some really interesting books in those. Do me a favor, if you haven't subscribed, can you please subscribe to the channel, and please hit the bell so you know when I make more videos, so we could discuss these books in the future. Do me a favor, let me know in the comments what you think, good or bad. I like to hear all kinds of comments. And now I'm finally caught up. It's wonderful to be caught up, isn't it? Until I get overloaded again, you know. That's the thing. Every time that you get caught up, it doesn't take long for you to get backed up on something else. So, I'm looking forward to seeing you, and thank you for being here. It's wonderful to have you here. Thank you for your time. See you next time.